Hello viewers, this is Mitul here. In this module 8, the advanced query concepts, what we would be covering is first of all we'll be covering is the store procedure, and within the store procedure what we will see is how to create the store procedure, how to alter it, how to drop it, how to execute, and what are the kind of permissions that we can grant to the store procedure, what are the dependencies, like what all dependent objects are there within that, right? And then the parameters, how many parameters you could pass to the store procedure, whether it could be input or an output parameters. Then the third type is like the returning a data from a store procedure. How can we return the data from a store procedure? Then the fourth kind is like the recompiling. How can we recompile the store procedure? Okay, and then the renaming of the store procedure that we will see. Then we will see the exception handling. How can we manage the exceptions occurring from the store procedure? So okay, so what you will do here in is like you will just press Control Shift and M. Okay, so it will pop up a window for specifying the values of for a parameter. Okay, so in which like you can specify the author, create name, description, procedure name, parameter name, and then the type, all of those things you can specify and then say okay. It will automatically fill up all these parameter and the values, right? So that we have understood in the last session. So likewise, when you want to create this input parameter and the output parameter, you could create it through the SSMS way, or you could write it at your own by giving manually the input or the output parameters. Now here in this case, we are passing the varchar 20 with an empty string. Why are we assigning this empty string here? It is because to pass the default value. In case user doesn't pass the student name to this procedure, in that case it would consider this empty string as an input to it. Okay, for that reason. And then this is the second parameter stdid, means student id. So student id is what we want to return out of this store procedure. By default value it would return as 0 in case if it doesn't get any of the outputs from the store procedure, right? And the keyword is the must. You need to use this keyword as an output if you want to return, or if you want to output the value out of the store procedure. So this is the must keyword. Now here that is usual, like set no count on is what we use to prevent the extra result set coming from interfering with the select statement. So that is where then. And then we have this select statement we are using in here to filter the list of students based on the student name passed to the store procedure. Okay, so here we are passing the parameter student name is what we are using here to filter the list of students based on this input parameter. So what we have done, select star from this table where the student name is equal to this parameter. Since this parameter is of a varchar 20, it will always go and check within that limit of the characters into this field. So you need to always make sure that the kind of parameter size that you are passing in the store procedure that meets up the filtering criteria. Otherwise it may truncate it, right? I mean the partial string would be compared and you possibly may not get the expected result because it will just be an equality check, not a like operator, right? Okay, so and then after that, if you would like to return the id, supposingly you just displayed the result set, you wanted to return the result set using this input parameter, then this is the way you will just return the result set. And then if you would like to return the output, as we have declared here, like the parameter student id, the same way you want to use the same field or the same parameter to return the value out of the store procedure, means which id this student name belongs to. Okay, so if you would like to return that id, then you will just put in the query like this, select the parameter student id equal to id from the table name result where student name is equal to the same parameter as we used in the previous one. Okay, so that will basically assign this id value to this output parameter. Okay, and then end and say go. That's it. Simple. So let us just run. sorry, execute. Right, so here we executed it, and then stored procedure is created. To see to that stored procedure whether it is created, you need to come here to see that, right? So always come here and do the refresh, so you get the latest stored procedure list, right? After we created, now we want to test it, like whether it is working as per our expectation or not. We always need to make sure that once you create the procedure, you do that unit testing on your end, so that it can be verified and tested thoroughly if it will work or not, right? So we are here like for the output parameter, as we have declared two input parameters, one is input and the second is output here in this case. So the input parameter and the output parameter. To return the output parameter, we might need to declare the variable while you execute this procedure, because here we are just executing or calling this procedure from this SSMS window, which is like a SQL Server Management Studio. Whereas if it is the case in case of your application, maybe you are calling from application or from maybe some other medium. So in that case, you might need to declare the variables and then give that parameter as an output parameter to the calling procedure. Okay. So that let's say in here executing, we are executing this, we are using this exec keyword, means it is basically this execute keyword, but in a short we are writing it like exec. Okay, so we are passing this store procedure to that exec command and passing with parameter names, where the parameter value is equal to LX. Suppose say we previously inserted some record to the table, this table result, right? We remember that like we have a student called LX in our particular table. So we want to get his ID in the return, right? And then second parameter, we just do not have to pass anything here because it's an output parameter. But since we are not passing any input, but we are expecting the output, then output needs to come in which variable? This is the variable. Okay, so this is the variable you will pass as an input to this parameter, so that it can swap the value or pass on that value from the procedure to this output variable or parameter, and then you will find the result in the output. Okay, so let us just run and see. Yeah, so see, we pass the student name here and the ID is what we have found in the output parameter, which is 1, right? So that is the same ID that we return. So this is how you could use the parameter inputs and outputs. Okay, so next we will be understanding about the 8.1.3. Thank you.